All right, so we are picking up where you left off after watching the video on Kristallnacht. If you haven't, the Nearpod is linked in the daily agenda and in modules. So Kristallnacht is the Night of the Broken Glass on November 9th and 10th in 1938. So there we go, Night of the Broken Glass. This is where Nazis smashed and broke Jewish homes, hospitals, businesses, and schools were destroyed, as she talked about in the video. 30,000 Jewish men were arrested just based on the fact that they were Jewish and sent to concentration camps. And then Hitler, after the destruction, charged the Jewish people with the damages that they caused. This was his statement on the events of Kristallnacht. The Fuhrer, or Hitler, has decided that demonstrations should not be prepared or organized by the party, but if they erupt spontaneously, they will not be hampered. So he says that the Nazis are not organizing them, but they will not stop them. So this is the video that you watched.
November 9th, 19...
So the turning point was really Kristallnacht. Because most of what Hitler had done to Jewish people up until Kristallnacht had been more, taking away jobs, taking away their citizenship with social, taking away political representation, those types of things. It wasn't an outright attack on them and their families and their homes. But now they start staging mass arrests of Jewish people and murders and beatings simply just because they were Jewish. This really starts the movement of Jewish people to ghettos. This is obviously a different terminology nowadays, but what ghettos were, they were sections of town that were barred off, or they put bricks around them to segregate the Jewish people from others. So this was in Poland. So it was mostly in the larger cities of Warsaw, Lodz, and Krakow. Ghettos were mostly, for the part, sealed off with barbed wire, and if there was any Jewish people that escaped, they would be shot or sent to concentration camps. Not all ghettos originally were sealed off. Some could go in and out freely with passes, but then as the war went on and as Hitler got angrier, it did, get more sealed and secluded. But most of the time, the Jewish people who died in ghettos would die of diseases because of the poor living conditions that happened in the ghettos. 76,000 just in the city of Warsaw died in the ghettos. So we're just going to talk briefly about concentration camps before they switched to what Hitler used them for. So in 1933 is when they first made concentration camps. These were basically hard labor camps, and this was mostly for people who were imprisoned communists, socialists, social democrats, and the Roma or the Gypsies. So pretty much anybody that opposed the NSDAP vocally were sent to concentration camps. There were no legal trials. And then in 1938, so 5 years later, Austrian political prisoners started going into the camps. And then after Kristallnacht, Jews were mass arrested because they were Jews and sent to concentration camps. So you see the expansion of, I wouldn't say legitimate sending people to concentration camps, but they were charged with a crime where, Austrian political prisoners were going. And then in 38, they're just simply being arrested and sent there because they were Jewish people, so there wasn't a crime being committed, which I doubt any of these that were really arrested probably had done any crime besides not being Nazi. So these are the concentration camps before, so in 1933 and 1934, so you see them all in Germany. Dachau is going to be a familiar name for maybe some of you. Chemnitz is somewhat a familiar name, for me at least, of names that I know. So we're going to skip the survivor story, just talking about how the slave labor camps were, but basically it was just an inhuman treatment of somebody just based on the fact that he was a Jewish person. Oops. I don't want that. All right, so the original purpose, once again, was to imprison people who are enemies of the state. This isn't just for Germany. We did have somewhat of, well, they were internment camps for Japanese people, but it was labor camps, same idea of this. And Russia did this as well. So this isn't new, the slave labor camps. I know in Australia that people who were sentenced to crimes would work hard labor. But the purpose for Hitler was to eliminate those small individual groups against the Nazis. It was forced labor, and Dachau was the first concentration camp in 1933 that was created in Germany. So right after Hitler took over. Operation Barbarossa is the invasion of the Soviet Union by Germany. So as you see here, Hitler had already taken over Poland, and he wants more land. So eventually they're going to want to get to Stalingrad, which is right here, as they move and get to Leningrad and Moscow, which are the three biggest cities. Hitler thought it was going to be a quick victory and overthrow the Soviet Union very easily and get that land as well. This was not the case. This is when the first mass killings began because Hitler had failed miserably as far as the invasion. I haven't seen anything written down, but I feel like a lot of the victories, or not the victory, a lot of the losses from Hitler he takes out on Jewish people, because he, gets angry because he can't go through the Soviet Union or get the Soviet Union, and then he takes it out on Jewish people. So then camps after World War II begins. This is Auschwitz, and it says work will make you free. So concentration camps start to become killing centers for target groups such as Jewish people, the Gypsies, communists, Russians, the list goes on. Gas chambers were constructed at this time at some of the camps. They were labeled as extermination camps. Oftentimes the prisoners there, so the Jewish people, were the ones who were creating the gas chambers. Come on. There we go. Next, we're going to talk about is the Wannsee Conference. So there is a video link, but I'm not going to show it for you guys. But this is a conference that was held in January of 42. It was held to discuss the final solution of the Jewish question, is what they posed it as. So they were going to submit a plan for the final solution, and they were going to determine the definition of a Jewish person, which is what we talked about before. Only one copy of the minutes survived, and that was found after World War II. It was the minutes of, where did he go? Martin Luther. And if those minutes weren't around, they would not know about it. And the meeting was held basically to ensure the cooperation among the different agencies involved. So you see the SS leader, the chancellor, government general, occupied territories, Minister of the Interior, Minister of Justice, the Gestapo, and then Adolf Eichmann, who I forget what he was involved in. So it's all different branches of the government, and Hitler was the leader, so trying to get them all together on the same page of what was going on. So the gas chambers had been going on. They had mobile gas units. Up until then, some people knew about them, some did not. So I'm not going to show the denial clip, but basically they were pretty much saying, hey, this is what we're doing. You guys need to be okay with it. and determining like definitions for what was going to happen, and just showing that what Hitler planned. So the final solution was to eliminate Jews from all over, not just Europe. And in the end, they murdered 2/3 of the Jewish population, which I believe is about 6 million people. And then we're going to stop here in this. We're going to pick up with the next day.